this let's say casino gulag situation might go global, and is that the way to control the population? Is that the purpose of it, or is it what's the origin of that situation?
Yes, the casino gulag is global. It's already active in countries around the world, and it's getting much stronger. And it's being enabled by new technologies and new social networking sites and new laws that allow for greater gambling and more gambling online. More power to companies like Halliburton to build, or Blackwater to build detention centers around the world, prisons around the world, prisons in the United States. The greater ability for the U.S. government to spy on its own citizens. The ability for the U.S. government to assassinate its own citizens on a presumption of maybe they're involved in something they don't like. Destruction of habeas corpus, destruction of much of the Bill of Rights, much of the Constitution, and this is just opening the floodgates toward a nation of cotton pickering, indentured servants living on the casino gulag who pick cotton all day and then are on Facebook Farmville at night trying to click their way to make a few extra dollars so they can buy some processed cheese at 7-Eleven or Walmart, which becomes a new company store on the new plantation of North Mexico. And then there's the border with current border of Texas and Mexico, and that's South Mexico. So you've got South Mexico, North Mexico, which are currently the contiguous 48 states, and then Canada. So it's the United States of North Mexico, South Mexico, casino gulag, and cotton pickers and social networkers, but for no money. And then if you have gold, you've got some options still. You have some options. I'm not saying it's going to magically make you impervious from the ravages of the emergence of this new casino gulag global nightmare, but it's definitely better than not having gold. I'll say that.
One question I have with the casino gulag model, let's say, of society, is how do you sustain it if the people are clicking and doing basically useless stuff all day?
Right.
How do you sustain? What is the what's the engine?
But the same way it's sustained now. How does the American economy sustain itself today, even though there's really no meaningful manufacturing? It's because the Federal Reserve keeps printing more money, and that money goes through the system, and it ends up making wealthy people wealthier and poor people poorer. Now, under the casino gulag system, and you see what's already happening with Facebook, or a company like Zynga, which is a virtual currency company. They'll flood your virtual currency gulag account with more coupons, more virtual dollars, more Facebook dollars, more Google dollars, more casino dollars. And they'll flood your account with these coupons that you can click on all day long, view ads, and of course people buy ads. You're in the casino gulag, you're watching the TV shows, it's a copyright cartel, you can't make your own TV shows anymore, and you're clicking and you're winning. Some will not win, some will starve to death. That's correct, but that's what happens in a gulag. Many people starve to death, then there's less people to worry about.
So they'll starve to death.
That's right.
Because if you talk about lots of new virtual currencies, somewhere it has to be turned into grain or metal or some real stuff for people to really sustain themselves.
Yes, but
how does the US keep that going? Because they're under enormous pressure.
It's a Ponzi scheme. You keep flooding it with more fake money and virtual currency, but many people will perish. Many people will die. I mean, under the Cultural Revolution in China, millions died. Under the casino gulag emergence in America and around the world, millions of people are going to perish.
So internet will be the umbilical cord, and if it's cut, they're out of the system.
I predict that within a few years, the internet, vis-a-vis the telephone connection, will go through the umbilical cord into the fetus. The fetus will rack up in vitro debits on an in vitro credit card, essentially. And before they're born, they'll have so many debts that they'll abort themselves just to avoid prenatal bankruptcy. So fetuses will abort themselves to avoid paying their MasterCard bill once you attach the umbilical cord to a phone line attached to the computer network, and there's the mother, of course, trying to make subsistence clicking to feed herself and her unborn baby who wants to get out of this whole nightmare before it's even begun.